Hi everyone, it's Margie from Basmati. Today we're speaking with Andrea from Awaken Astrology. Hi Andrea.
Hi Margie. Hi Roger. Hi Ursula.
And Roger from Recover Your Heart.
Hi
Roger. Hey. And Ursula from Basmati.
Hello.
I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Today we're speaking about, we're going to do Ursula's, or Andrea's going to do, Ursula's Open Doorways August monthly reading. And Roger has been, Roger and I have been working with Ursula on, as some of you know from her blog, doing some energy work and how these energies relate to that. So, yay! Andrea, we're so excited to hear.
Yay, me too. I am super excited. Hi Ursula, we are going to be working on your month of August, and I'm super excited because we have 2 eclipses coming up during the month. So we'll be having a partial lunar eclipse on the full moon that occurs on August 7th, and we have a total solar eclipse during the new moon on August 15th, and I just want to take a minute to remind you and everyone else what is so significant about eclipses. And one of the cool things about eclipses is that we can experience their effects for up to 6 months. So they're big. To recap quickly, a lunar eclipse happens when the Earth blocks the light that comes from the sun in reaching the moon. So a shadow is cast on the moon at the moment of the full moon. So there's supposed to be a full moon, and it gets blocked. So this disruption of the full moon blocks the full illumination, the culmination, or the high point of the lunar energies that are supposed to build and then culminate at that moment. And the block requires us to feel our way through and to use insight and wisdom. It's an opportunity for spiritual advancement. And the same opportunity occurs during a solar eclipse when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, blocking the light of the sun, and the sun represents our conscious self. So a blockage of the sun's light is asking for us to look at our unconscious or shadow aspects and to integrate them with love and acceptance, of course. So for your reading, Ursula, we're going to start out with your personal new moon, which just happens to fall on August 1st. So your month starts right on August 1st, coincidentally. And then we're going to move through the month, including the lunar eclipse energies on August 7th and the solar eclipse energies on August 21st. So Ursula, a general theme that you've been experiencing over the last year are the energies of water. Neptune, the god of the sea and the ruler of the water sign Pisces, has been waking up a deeper awareness of your inner self. This includes a deeper awareness of your emotional nature and your psyche. Now, Neptune is known for increasing sensitivity both from other people and the environment. Your increased receptivity comes to you in the form of intuition, dreams, and even psychic ability. Now, before a person becomes completely comfortable with interpreting impressions that come from the emotional world, people oftentimes sense them as difficult or confusing. And a lot of times, people disregard them as false or just illusions. I get the sense in looking at your chart that you feel isolated and lonely frequently. And one of the pieces of advice that comes up is that you will do best if you connect and request guidance from other sensitive people, who are of the emotional water realm, and those people connecting with those people can give you more self-confidence and a feeling of belonging. Now, part of this water world that's really being triggered for you right now is because of these goddesses. And it's really cool. I'm super excited. You have a lot of goddess energy that you're working with in your chart. The first goddess is called Astrology. In Greek, she's called, her name means star maiden or starry night. And Astrology was the virgin goddess of innocence and purity, and I'm reading this little blurb right here so I get it right. It's always associated with the Greek goddess of justice and the personification of just judgment. Astrology, the celestial virgin, was the last of the immortals to live with humans during the Golden Age. According to Greek mythology, Astrology abandoned the earth during the Iron Age, fleeing from the wickedness of humanity. She ascended to heaven to become the constellation Virgo. The nearby constellation of Libra, which is the scales, reflected her symbolic association with justice. Astrology in Pisces represents purity and innocence of the etheric spiritual realm. So what I see is you identifying with the ideal that only the spiritual realm is pure, perfect, and innocent. Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit more, but how are you feeling? Let's do a check-in with this.
I think that this is all really interesting. I think that what's particularly noteworthy is talking about how surrounding myself with other sensitive people creates a sense of belonging and community. And I think that that's really proven true, even just working with Basmati and doing all of this energy healing and astrological readings, because you guys are sensitive in the same ways, it seems like. And so when for example, when I do a coaching session or a talk about the energy healing, I've even talked about this in my blog, that it's almost like learning a new language or understanding the world in a different way, and hearing people verbalize how I realize I subconsciously interpret the world. Definitely makes it, there's like a better sense of belonging or community, or that like I'm not the only one that'll interpret something like this. And so it was really interesting when you were bringing that up, because I feel that in the past year or so working with Basmati, I've definitely experienced that. It was in a way where I guess the best way I could explain it is like I didn't really know that it was missing until it came about.
Until you got awakened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's excellent. Thanks for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit more about Astrology, because she is definitely one of your goddess energies. I mean, you are inherently connected to the virtues of justice, knowledge, and reason. It would be unimaginable for you to disconnect from these virtues, because they are a part of you. There's a deep mystical connection with the divine, and you understand that divinity as being, there's almost like the way you understand divinity is that it is pure and perfect and innocent. So sometimes when the world gets rough, you may want to, sort of daydream and imagine about the etheric or otherworldly realm that is pure, perfect, and innocent. And I get this sense that because you feel so strongly about being a virtuous person, you seek to bring these virtues with you in every thought and every word and everything that you do, that there may be a little bit of misunderstanding on the part of other people, not understanding your passion and striving for excellence. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because the moon, the other illuminary goddess, okay, is also in Virgo, and Virgo's about perfection. You know, it's about learning to transform criticism into discernment, and understanding that the shadow side of everyone's life, and the moon represents the shadow, is simply a part of the self that can be transformed into light. So Moon in Virgo learns to transform criticism to discernment, and spiritual growth comes from accepting that shadow aspect. So this is about oppositions that require balance and understanding that we are both sides of the opposition. And Neptune has been and will be continuing to trigger these values within yourself. These values are exceptional. Please don't think that I am asking you to minimize them in any way, because doing that would be like cutting off a body part. The key is to find a way to seamlessly integrate your goddess Estrella so that your personality and your soul are one. So I see this striving for perfection, this purity, as a driving factor for you. It's connected to Mars, the planet of energy, and so it's good if you can just sort of reflect upon this and understand this as an aspect of yourself. Now, Neptune is also triggering a review of your values and testing your understanding of the world. So any contradictions to your philosophy or religious convictions right now will need to be readjusted and expanded. It's a great time to let go of dogma or anything that was programmed as truth, but which is not authentically your own. You have what's called Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter turns the energy of expansion inward. So Jupiter is about expansion. When it's retrograde, it's turned inward. So much of it is about you seeking your own truth so that inner growth can take place. You are a person who will find peace in learning spiritual-oriented studies. And you have specifically chosen this lifetime to be a highly spiritual one. And over time, spiritual maturity will give you the wisdom and prophetic ability that I see in your chart. Now, there's another goddess asteroid named Pallas or Athena that's also a key player in your chart. And Pallas Athena symbolizes the process of evolution of consciousness. So that is amazing. This goddess stands for championing your own evolution of consciousness. And she is also placed in the sign of Pisces. So both of these goddesses are in the sign of Pisces, second house, meaning that you identify your self-value as connecting with the divine and standing up for wisdom, justice, strategy, skill, healing, and the arts. And Chiron right now is activating your Pallas Athena, creating an initiation of healing. So let's check in. Are you sensing that this is a time of terrific awakening for you, that you are like almost compelled and driven to be initiated into this new realm?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the precipice of a lot of different realizations. But I think too that even just looking back in the past year, how much I've really come into the realization of just the interconnectedness of things, and how I think it's really interesting to be listening to what you're saying, and I'm kind of drawing a lot of little connections, but I definitely think that there have been a lot of challenges in the past year and a half, some are still ongoing, that have really pushed me to understand my circumstances in a different way. And, you know, it's interesting to hear you talk about, and Margie and Roger also talked about this, where life in the context of you've chosen your obstacles, or you've chosen certain circumstances to promote a certain level of growth.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past year or so is when I've really started to see things that way, and it definitely is enlightening on several different levels, and then, you know, inherently also leads to an understanding of the growth that comes with a situation, rather than maybe how someone else that hadn't tapped into this awakening energy might see it as problems in the context of like breaking you down rather than growth opportunities.
Right. It's not about you being a victim. It's about you seeing every situation as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. Right now, what's happening with Pluto in your chart and all of that, it's about your own personal healing and transformation, which ultimately will be used for the nurturance of others and helping them in serving other people. So you've got this Pallas Athena is a highly intelligent energy that uses holistic and natural methods. And, well, you can't help others holistically without helping yourself holistically first. And it also gives you the ability to both understand and communicate your insights, which is exactly what you're doing by blogging and being the editor of Basmati, which is really cool. So it is synchronistically beautiful. I'm always amazed at how astrology ties in so synergistically. When we look at what's continue to go on now, I want to move on to how you're being impacted by the lunar eclipse. And again, I want to state that lunar eclipse, any eclipse is an opportunity to leap ahead by focusing on the energies and what you want to gain from them. Again, it's not seeing yourself as a victim, but seeing this as an opportunity. Almost feeling blessed that the universe is providing you with these energies to continue to raise your level of awareness and consciousness and grow from them. So August 7th lunar eclipse happens in Aquarius. And in Aquarius and Leo, the opposite sides of the chart, are key players for you. So with this lunar eclipse, you're going to get even more of an increased awareness of what authentic empowerment is and how to use authentic empowerment to follow your dharmic path. Now, dharma is an Eastern concept, you know, Tibetan, Buddhist, and all that, that includes what they consider to be duties, rights, laws, conduct, virtues, in essence, the right way of living. And when I also looked up Dharma, according to Buddhist philosophy, it's that following Dharma is the path of least suffering. So following your Dharmic path is, for you, is about finding the true meaning and value of life. And this happens in the sign of Taurus. And ultimately, when you find your personal and spiritual home, structure, and foundation, and the meaning of life, and you structure your life that way as having meaning and structuring it right in, that's going to give you the path of least resistance. Now, it starts out, the sign of Taurus, and oftentimes starts out with people focusing on a purpose in life is pursuing and acquiring material possessions and pleasure that they bring. And that's very much a part of Taurus. It's ruled by Venus, and Venus is a very strong planet for you. But as Taurus matures, and you're at this point now where you're transforming what you desire, you're actually confronting and releasing your attachment to desire and possession. And this is the Scorpio-Taurus polarity point in your chart. And it feels painful at times. It feels like a loss. Scorpio is a death. Scorpio is going to fight hard to hold on to what you thought you knew, what you thought you believed, you thought was real. And now Taurus is going to show you a whole new, Taurus on the spiritual level is going to bring a whole new meaning to you. And I want you to relax and know that you're on this soul-centered path now, and the desire for material things is going to transform into what I call the art and beauty of true living. This art of living is about the virtue of grace. And I think it's great because this, Roger and Margie do grace recovery and grace integrity. And I have my own astrological viewpoint of grace. The grace is about the right use of speech and expressing your life in a way that is beautiful and uplifting. Venus rules Taurus, and Venus is the goddess that rules beauty, not only in the material realm, but also in relationships by using harmony and diplomacy and balance. So your dharmic path is to create a foundation in your life in this manner, and you will feel spiritual from walking this on this path of art and beauty of true graceful living. And the very nature of your personality, being a Capricorn rising, gives you a lot of drive to accomplish this. I definitely see you achieving your goal of living a life of harmony and balance and mastery of the art of truly living. And it's funny because the images that were coming to mind for me were of the old style, graceful and elegant movie stars like Grace Kelly, Ingrid Bergman. These ladies made the art of beautiful speech and grace-filled living an integral part of their being. So I don't know how this resonates with you, little check-in, but how do you feel about that?
It's so funny to hear you talk about all of this because this is exactly what's going on. Again, in the past year or so, I've just developed this complete fascination with living off grid and wanting to get a tiny home and create a little homestead, and it's really amped up in the past several months. I've been watching tons of documentaries about it and doing a bunch of research on how to make this happen. And my New Year's resolution for 2017 was to be able to fit into a tiny home by 2018. So getting rid of a lot of extra stuff that I have. And before, if everyone remembers, I was going to go to law school on the East Coast and live this corporate life. That's what I thought that I wanted. And that didn't work out, and instead I ended up going to grad school in Portland for environmental policy, which just seemed so much more important to me. And then on top of that, getting a job with Basmati, where there's just such a focus on conscious living. And so it's just bizarre almost, I guess, to hear you explaining all this, because I'm like, that's exactly what's happening in my life. And even, you know, I just moved back to Colorado, and have gone through some different changes, and even through that whole process, I'm realizing that there are certain things that I thought that I wanted, and really at a closer look, maybe I want the principal things behind what I thought that I wanted, but they don't have to manifest themselves in such a way that society has prescribed them to manifest, I suppose. And so there is just more this focus on actual harmony and balance in my life rather than trying to reach specific goals that carry a connotation of harmony and balance.
Right. It's about what is authentically meaningful, right? And that is this Taurus Dharma. I mean, it's not about, yes, Taurus on a personality level is more about the stuff, right? But on a soul level, it's more about the art of living, the truth in living, and that's what you're getting at. So that is excellent, and that creates. So you've got this cross, this fixed cross going on between this letting go, this death of yourself, so to speak, the old self, and this right value of life. And then opposite that is balancing. This is going on between the lunar eclipse and your own personal full moon. This balancing the energies between Leo and Aquarius, your own focusing on self and balancing that by contributing to a group or people all over the world. So Aquarius is the group, the collective, those that will benefit from you. So your North Node is about Aquarius, being in service to the collective or whatever group is going to benefit from your genius, okay? And the lunar eclipse is waking this up and giving you an opportunity to use this ability that you have as a visionary and what you can do in service to humanity. And this whole tiny house thing is absolutely this wave of what it really means to be human. Do we really need these big giant boxes that are 4,500 square feet, or can we use the art and beauty of true living and balance and find what is really meaningful about life? And so some of this is about releasing the need for other people's approval, standing in your own courage and dignity to stand up for who you are and what you have to offer the world. And by the time we arrive at August 15, which is your own personal new moon, I see that you'll have a really clear understanding of how to balance these energies we've just been talking about. The energy is suddenly alleviated, so it just goes away. And part of it is just, like I said, bringing your consciousness to this. On August 21st, when we have the solar eclipse in Leo, again, Leo, it's going to bring your attention and awareness to the right use of your own authentic power, okay, and how to balance it with serving humanity. So again, it's this back and forth, and then it alleviates. So what's really great is that all this is brought to your conscious awareness, and now by working with grace recovery and grace integrity and all the individual sessions within those programs, you can release anything that's blocking you from this. If you feel that there's any blockages that are coming up that are stopping you from living your full potential. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think, well, it's exciting to know that the back and forth is going to be alleviated. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is such it's nice that it does fit so neatly in with the energy healing that I've been doing, in the sense of, okay, now I know kind of where I'm headed, and so that can give me a little bit more of a defined goal as to what to work on clearing, or what to look for even to then clear in the energy healing sessions.
Right. That's what it's about, you know?
Awesome.
Well, that's a wrap for Ursula's monthly reading.
Andrea, that was so fabulous. That was really awesome. I really love your Open Doorways monthly readings. They're great. Roger, I want to ask, Andrea brought this up, and she mentioned about the grace work that we do. I'd like to share a little bit about how you feel about grace and what grace is, if that's okay, and expand on what Andrea brought up.
Well, first of all, I want to say this is quite amazing and surprising to me, the synchronicity, the perfection of the timing here, what you're going through, Ursula, how we all came together. It seems like it was planned beyond what we could come up with.
It really does.
It really does. It's
the grace. The grace work, to me, grace pretty much takes me to feeling love and compassion. It's like Christ consciousness, I guess you would say. It's directed at bringing us to our hearts, which is important, and just what Andrea was talking about, learning self-love again and living a heart-based life, heart-centered life, which will fall in perfectly with where you're headed, the way it sounds. So,
yes, that's where we all are.
Really an honor. Pardon me?
I said it was where we all want to be. Right.
Yes.
Right. Isn't that
yes. Well, I was just making a connection with Ursula's past at the time, and it seems just so perfect. So I'm looking forward to our next coaching session. And there were a couple things that came up that I'd like to that we'll need to talk about, that Andrea brought up, that came up in our last Grace Recovery session. So.
See how beautiful that is? It's very exciting. It's really wonderful to work with all of you. It's an honor and it's a gift, and it's a beautiful teaching every time I chat on the phone with any of you or get to see you or do any work. It's really just divine.
Yeah, this has really been the most amazing process, and I'm so grateful to all of you for sharing your wisdom and healing with me.
I honor your courage.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Very authentic, and it's perfect.
Much love. Much love. Ursula, Roger was saying your blog was so authentic and perfect. I don't know if you heard that, but very, very genuine and very heartfelt. You can feel it in the words and the space between the words, which is truly magnificent.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge to communicate stuff that's so raw and personal, I guess. But I think, really, I hope that it inspires other people to follow the path of holistic healing and conscious living and becoming more in tune with themselves.
You're here.
It's a big adjustment for a lot of us, We're used to covering that stuff up most of the time and projecting what we want people to see, so we're accepted and all. So making yourself vulnerable like that is a big step, but it's very healing. So. It's all good.
It's all perfect. It's all perfect. Andrea from Awaken Astrology, thank you. And Roger from Recover Your Heart. And Ursula, as always, much love. And you have a super fun night tonight. And everyone enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right.
Everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.